You good? You feeling good? I'm feeling awesome.
Sounds this good.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be great.
Right.
Hey there, Living Kinetics back. Rav King back again with you. Today, we're hanging out with a very special friend for a very special podcast. One that I've been wanting to do for some time now, but just haven't been able to put together the right information in the right way that I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bringing our friend on today. Please, go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do. Go ahead and talk to either camera. Stage is all yours.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm Kristine Teague, and I'm a cannabis consultant. What I do is help people with who are new to cannabis or new again to cannabis, to CBDs. There's so many questions that people have because all of this is really new, and even if anybody used cannabis in the 70s and 80s, things have changed.
A whole different game now.
They're learning new things with cannabis and CBD every day. There's just new things being discovered.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to it, and so I help people navigate that when they're starting out.
That's awesome. Make that huge world seem just a little more graspable, right? A little smaller for them.
Right.
And before we get into it too much, I do want to kind of give the disclaimer here that we're not necessarily trying to get you to smoke cannabis. Today we're talking about science behind that and kind of taking down some of the myths that might be surrounded around it, or some of the stuff that you run into on a daily basis, some of the big questions out there. So let me ask you, what are some of the big misconceptions about CBD that you come across in your day-to-day practice?
I think a big part of it is people just don't understand what all it is, and they don't understand that there is a difference between THC and CBD. Sometimes they hear CBD, they relate it to cannabis, and they think that's going to produce a high.
It even sounds like it, right? Cannabinoid, cannabis,
yes,
right? Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But THC and CBD, maybe for our audience here, we might explain the difference real quick.
They're two the two most common cannabinoids in cannabis and in the hemp plant. There's two plants that all of this comes from, the cannabis plant and the hemp plant. THC really mainly comes from the cannabis plant. CBD can come from both, although it's primarily from the hemp plant. Okay. That one is CBD dominant.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot to it, but and then the other confusion is THC is the compound that can get someone high. It's the psychoactive compound. With CBD, there is no psychoactivity.
That's more body related than mind related.
Right.
You might put it in simple terms.
Right.
Gotcha. So if I were to take a massive amount of CBD, the high I might feel is pain relief. Right?
Exactly. You'll feel better because the pain goes away.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels good.
Which, I don't know about you in your field, but I've come across so many people who get like this endorphin high after a massage, or they have that day where they're not feeling pain, and they contribute it almost to a high versus to feeling, that's how the normal homeostasis of the body, right? You should feel that good all the time.
Exactly.
It says a lot about ourselves that our normal is feeling like absolute crap and in pain.
Unfortunately, that's too true. And cannabis and the hemp plant and these cannabinoids restore our body to homeostasis. That's their job. And so that is a big part of what's doing, and that's why it's good for so many things.
Yeah.
Because it's fighting off the bad cells, like the cancer cells, because it knows those aren't good things.
Yeah.
And it's helping to not only to relieve pain, but to heal what's going on in your body to help stop that pain.
That's awesome.
And it just helps in a lot of different ways.
I think I'll take the twofer there. I think I'll go ahead and double down on my healing practice there.
Right.
Now let me ask, who is it for? Who is CBD for? Is there a crowd out there that we should be using it for? Should everybody be using it? Is there someone out there who definitely should not be using any CBD with their lifestyle?
Actually, I believe it could help anybody and everybody. I mean, there's always going to be, everybody's different. So there's always going to be somebody who says, or some group of people who say, either I don't feel anything, this isn't doing anything for me. Or, yeah, I tried that stuff and I didn't feel any better. I felt worse.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally that's going to happen. But because these plants have been around for hundreds of thousands of years, and then were suddenly taken off of our country because of the legal status, because everything changed, and then hemp had a whole bunch of rules in addition to the cannabis plant. Now they're saying that some of the more recent conditions and diseases that are coming up, like fibromyalgia, people who, this isn't recent, but migraines have surged, that a lot of those are related to endocannabinoid deficiency.
Okay.
It's because, you know, we got rid of the plant. The plant was part of nature. So if you think about it, the plant's out there growing wild. Cows are going to eat it. We're going to drink the cow's milk. So we're not necessarily, people weren't getting high all the time, but they were getting a benefit to their endocannabinoid system.
Some kind of indirect effect through nature.
And all mammals have this system.
Do you want to take a side step and explain what the endocannabinoid system is? Just in simple terms for the audience.
Right. It's a neurotransmitter system in our bodies, and it's actually the biggest neurotransmitter system. There are two different kinds of receptors, and some people who read about this, you'll hear some of these different things. But there's like CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, but cannabis and CBD also work with the other receptors in our system. We have opioid receptors and serotonin receptors, and these all of these receptors are taking this in the new old plant that's been around for so long, but we haven't had, and absorbing it into our bodies. So there's a lot of different ways that THC and CBD can get absorbed, and it just helps, and that's why it can help a lot of different conditions.
Yeah, because the body's almost made for it, what is it, the lock and key mechanisms that a lot of biologists will refer to.
Right.
I mean, that in itself speaks volumes to me, that there's, you know, it's not just kind of a random chemical, like it's it's meant to help us out. We're meant to interact with it. That's incredible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me ask, is there anybody out there though who should steer away from it? Any populations that shouldn't have any of the CBD cream or oils that we offer here?
I don't think there's a population in general that shouldn't, but keep in mind that every person reacts differently to everything.
Okay.
You know, you take a room full of people and ask them their thoughts on potatoes. You know, something as bland as that.
Yeah.
And as ordinary, but one person's going to love them, another person's going to hate them, another person could care less, another person, okay, if they're French fries.
Yeah.
And then there will be somebody who says, no, they upset my stomach too much, I can't eat them.
Yeah.
So we're that way with everything. So the same is going to be true with CBD.
Nice. Just for everyone out there, how can they get a hold of you if they are interested in, maybe they've already talked to me about some of the CBD creams and they want more knowledge? Do you have a website they can visit?
I do. It's cannabisholistically.com, because I do believe in the very holistic part of it, where we're taking care of everything.
Yeah.
And then, so my website has all my contact information, and that's the best place to find me.
Awesome. So I do encourage you to check her out, because it seemed like a really thorough site, really well put together site.
Thank you.
Yeah. Her services are incredibly professional. So again, check her out and, well, start feeling better. Get some more mobility, everybody.
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk to you next time. Take care, everyone.